Sergey, I want to talk a bit more about the sounds.
These are different cars. This is the Porsche 911, Lamborghini Urus, Mercedes AMG Sport version.
We asked the clients what kind of sound do they want.
From the clients? Clients often ask us what they want in those terms. They want this kind of sound and that kind of sound, and we take that into account as well. And how do we record them? We record by taking the car. Director's Sound 100. We set up, for example, 4 or 5 different microphones. They all record differently when we start it. How the car starts and runs while idling, we record when it's at a standstill. That's when the car isn't running. Yes, it sits long, and when you start it, it holds, called a cold idle. It revs like that, right? Then it warms up, RPMs drop, and the sound changes. That's the second sound. So it revs like that, right? Then it heats up, the RPMs drop, and the sound changes. This is the second sound. Yes. If you switch to sport mode, then a third sound comes in. If you switch to, for example, Sport Plus, then a fourth sound might be added. For example, to open up the valve on sports cars, that's already the fifth one. So all of this gets recorded. Yes, you can put it in drive, press the brake, and start pressing the gas. That will be the sixth sound. And this is how we record different sound variations from one car. And then, after we finish the recording, we listen to it in the studio and choose, in our opinion, the most optimal, the most beautiful one, the one that, so to speak, pleases the ear. And now we're recording it. Our electronic module is specially prepared by the sound engineer for the sound file. Then our guys, the developers, have already recorded it, and the module is processed in a certain way. And here it is, actually ready for playback. So let's say the car, I want to say that when we released the third version, we spent a lot of time on these 15 sounds. I personally spent almost 8 months in the studio with the sound engineer, yes, because we were working on it. Several variations of the files. Then they needed to be listened to, not just in the studio, but in the car itself. They needed to be recorded in the block. Yeah, well, the guys, the developers also need to be part of this, to take a ride, listen, and if something's off, to redo or change it. Again, for example, idle or hot, there's sport mode there. And that took 8 months.